Long ago, in the great city of Rome, there lived a man named Seneca. He was a philosopher, a teacher, and a writer who spent his life thinking deeply about how people should live. At that time, Rome was a powerful empire filled with wealth, luxury, and endless desires. People chased after gold, fine clothes, grand houses, and all the pleasures money could buy. But Seneca saw a problem in this way of living. He noticed that the more people had, the more they wanted, and the more unhappy they became. Seneca himself had experienced both wealth and poverty. He was born into a wealthy family, but later in life he was exiled by the emperor and forced to live simply. Through these experiences he learned something important. True happiness does not come from owning things. He watched as the richest men in Rome spent their days worrying about their riches, fearing thieves, and never feeling satisfied. No matter how much they had, it was never enough. Seneca saw that their greed was like drinking seawater. The more they drank, the thirstier they became. One of Seneca's most famous letters was written to his friend Lucilius. In it he warned against the dangers of materialism. He explained that when people focus too much on wealth and possessions, they lose sight of what truly matters: wisdom, virtue, and peace of mind. He said that a man who depends on his riches for happiness is like a prisoner. His gold becomes his chains. The more he owns, the more he must protect, and the less free he becomes. Seneca told a story about a wealthy man who built a grand house with marble floors, golden statues, and gardens filled with rare flowers. The man believed his wealth would make him happy, but instead he spent his days in fear. He worried that his servants would steal from him. He lay awake at night, afraid that enemies might take his fortune. He could not enjoy his meals because he was always thinking of ways to gain more. Seneca pointed out that this man was not rich. He was poor in spirit. His wealth had not brought him peace, but only more troubles. Then Seneca compared him to a simple farmer who lived outside the city. The farmer had a small piece of land, a humble house, and just enough food to survive. He worked hard, but he was free. He did not waste his time counting coins or scheming for more. At night, he slept soundly. In the morning, he woke with gratitude for the sun and the earth. The farmer was not distracted by endless desires. His life was not perfect, but he had something the wealthy man did not: contentment. Seneca believed that the best way to live was to desire less, not more. He taught that we should ask ourselves, what do I truly need? Not, what do I want? He said that nature provides enough for survival: food, water, shelter, and companionship. Everything else is extra. And the more extras we collect, the more we burden ourselves. He also warned that material things do not last. Gold can be stolen. Houses can burn. Fine clothes wear out. If we place our happiness in these things, we will always live in fear of losing them. But if we place our happiness in our character, our wisdom, and our inner strength, no one can take that away. Seneca's warnings are just as important today as they were in ancient Rome. We live in a world filled with advertisements telling us to buy more, own more, and desire more. But has this made us happier? Many people work long hours to buy things they do not need. They fill their homes with objects that soon lose their value. They compare themselves to others and feel they are never enough. This is the trap of materialism that Seneca warned about. Imagine two modern lives. The first is a person who chases wealth. They work endlessly, always wanting a bigger salary, a newer car, a larger house. They are stressed, tired, and never satisfied. The second is a person who lives simply. They have enough to live comfortably, but do not waste time chasing luxuries. They enjoy books, walks in nature, and time with friends. Which life sounds better? Seneca would say the second one, because it is free from the endless hunger for more. Seneca's lesson is clear. Materialism does not lead to happiness. It leads to anxiety, greed, and emptiness. True wealth is not in what we own, but in what we can live without. The fewer things we depend on, the freer we become. This does not mean we must live in poverty, only that we should not be slaves to our possessions. In the end, Seneca's words remind us to focus on what truly matters: kindness, wisdom, and inner peace. These are the riches that last forever. Everything else is just dust in the wind.